Morning guys, Lenny Reed, Dynomite Diesel Products. So I'm here with Cody, and Cody, you've got a shop in Post Falls, Idaho?
Yep.
What's it called?
BC Diesel.
And what do you really do?
Mainly just work on Duramaxes.
Duramaxes, V8, yep. Chevy, yep. GM platform?
Yep.
And there's a lot of rumor that some of them, the LB7 in particular, they have startability and idleability problems.
Yeah, especially with like the sack design nozzle.
So VCOs kind of got a black eye because they didn't seem to last after 100,000 miles apparently. And there's a sack nozzle that everybody's using. You've used a few sets of those?
Yeah, quite a few sets.
How's that worked out for you?
I mean, they're okay. They seem to have excessive smoke. Takes quite a few tune revisions to get them to not haze at an idle and not knock and rattle, but
you do your own tuning, right?
Yeah.
So you understand like pressure and pulse width and timing and all those things.
Yep.
So you're able to live tune them and you get them to work out pretty good after it's all kind of said and done?
Yeah, for the most part.
So currently we're standing in front of a truck. What year is this one?
It's a 2003.
2003, and it's an LB7.
Yep.
And you came to me a few weeks ago. Actually, it's been a little bit ago that we talked about this. But you weren't super stoked, or your customer wasn't super stoked about the way it turned out, right?
Yep.
Now, what was his biggest problem or biggest complaint with this truck?
His biggest complaint was it was pretty smoky, towing, and the mileage wasn't very great.
So it's got stock size tires under it.
Yep.
And they're just a studless snow tire right now that I can see.
Yep, that's what it stays on.
We're on these tires because now it's actually getting cold outside. Like all the leaves around here are orange and yellow, and this morning it was like 32, 34 degrees depending on where you were.
Yep.
So this truck right now has a set of our small sacks, 75 horsepower, so it's an LB7-75 reman. How did it start this morning?
Totally spotless, not a drop of smoke, no shake, no miss, just perfectly smooth.
It worked.
Yep.
Did what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
The customers had this truck with these injectors in it for how long now?
About a week.
How many miles do you think he's got on it?
Probably 600 or 700.
What's his impression so far?
Massive improvement over what he had.
So he's picked up, I think you claimed about 2 miles per gallon so far?
Yep.
So this truck's getting just around 17-ish now?
Yep.
For the first time ever, I've only seen this truck for about 15 minutes now. I just took it for about a 5 or 6 minute drive. And it really reminded me of when these trucks were brand new, LB7s with like an edge easy or an edge juice box. They would make about 275, 305 horsepower, somewhere in there. And you could get them to smoke if you booted it real early, and it wasn't real smoke, it was more of a haze.
Yep. And
then just cleans up and starts rolling through the gears.
Yep.
This truck feels identical to that, but this truck gets to 60 a lot faster than say a 300 horsepower truck.
Yeah.
So where's this thing at power-wise?
We're shooting roughly to be in that 400 to 450 range for a tow truck.
Factory turbocharger?
Yep.
Factory transmission?
Yep.
Did you do anything to this trying to get it to hold?
Nothing really. Still bone stock.
Bone stock, just tuning.
Yep.
So, because with the Allisons, can you guys manipulate line pressure and things?
You can. Like the 6 speeds in the newer trucks are better. The 5 speeds, there's not a lot you can do.
Okay.
I just use the torque tables to not have a lot of torque down low, and it seems to keep them alive.
I did notice that like the defueling between shifts, every time it grabs the next gear, it does have kind of a, I would call it a lag, but it's not a lag. It's just, you can feel that torque management set.
Yep.
And it doesn't just yard and start scratching tires. But as it revs up, it definitely wants to get down and it hauls.
Yeah, the top end on it's pretty good. We didn't want to do a lot on the bottom, try and keep it as stock as possible, not tear stuff up, so.
How many miles are on this truck?
225,000.
I was kind of surprised when I saw the odometer, because I have seen the truck start. Like I say, it's about 34 degrees outside right now and the truck's warm. But when he fired it off and I was standing by the tailpipe, there was nothing. So we'll get you some B-roll of that here in just a moment. But, you know, like, can you take me for a drive in this thing? Give me some driving impressions?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's go, guys. Hi, guys. So basically, I'm sitting in the back seat. It's crew cab, long bed truck. It's got a fifth wheel hitch in the back. Cody, the mechanic, tuner, is driving the truck. And I can see the rear view mirror right now. And you just accelerated pretty hard away from the shop. But I didn't see any smoke whatsoever.
No, it's spotless.
I gotta think that just driving this truck, like, it kind of makes me, and I've been thinking about buying a Duramax here lately anyway, just because I wanted to try these nozzles myself. But what I really appreciate about the way this thing idles is it sounds sharp and clean.
Yep. Yeah, there's not much chop to it.
Did it sound this, like, the moment you pop the key, it just sounds very clean?
Yep.
Did it sound this way with the other stuff in it?
No, it would crack off and have a little bit of injector rattle when you first started it.
It's pretty surprising. Like, I always tell people, like, making horsepower is one thing, but getting something to drive amazing is a whole nother thing. And you don't necessarily need to make a horsepower number to make something drive really good. You know, examples like you can have a 9 or maybe a 1,000 horsepower truck that drives like garbage.
Yep.
So if you're wide open throttle, sure, it's fun, but it's not very fun from stoplight to stoplight. And this thing, you know, let's just say this thing makes 400 to 450 horsepower. It drives as good as a brand new stock LB7 did.
Yep. Yeah.
That's, I mean, I'm kind of mind blown that this thing's, you know, because back in the day when this truck was new, if you had a 450 horsepower Duramax, it had tuners stacked on top of tuners and a bunch of extrude hone media run through the nozzles and a lift pump, and it was a smoky mess.
Yep. Yeah, so, you black out an intersection pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. And that was, you know, when you first started asking me about doing these nozzles, that was something that I really wanted to key in on and make was, like, I figured if we had the Cummins technology nailed the way we do, we could share some of those ideas onto these, and I'm impressed. I really like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that you think we would, I mean, these are 75s. Do you think, would you change that? Would you add more? Would you have less? What's your thoughts?
I wouldn't change much for a stock truck that wants just a little bit more. This is a pretty solid option where you're not trying to tune around them to get them to run good. You know, I think you could put it into a truck with factory tuning and would have pretty good results across the board.
So the tune that's in this, you say it's a 2020 tune?
Yep.
And that's 20% timing?
Yep.
And 20%, what else was it?
Pressure increase. And then we added 20% to the air tables.
Okay. So how many MPA will this truck make at wide open throttle now?
170-ish.
So these injectors will safely take 190 to 200 MPA. So you're well under that.
Yep.
And so I don't have to worry about, as an injector guy, you killing the injectors because you're not even close to that limit.
Yeah.
So in an LB7 truck, what's the limit valve? What's it set at stock to start bursting at?
24,000 PSI.
Okay. And we're sitting well underneath that, and this truck runs good. So, and really, I mean, if this guy, he's got that fifth wheel hitch in the back. How heavy is he tow?
He tows pretty heavy. He pulls a 40-foot travel trailer behind it.
Oh. Toy box too, or no?
No toy box, just a travel trailer.
So it's probably every bit of 13 to 15,000 pounds.
I'm sure it is. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff inside it.
Okay. And this thing, I mean, if it's not killing the transmission with that kind of weight behind it, then obviously, you know, you've got your torque management set in the ECM correctly. And so if a guy was to buy a stock LB7 Duramax, didn't change the tune, didn't change torque limiting, how would that Duramax react with the 75 horsepower injector? Because that's probably going to be 200 pound-feet of torque without any tune modifications. Is that going to be too much, do you think, with a factory tune?
I don't think so. I think with where, you know, GM sets the factory fueling, it'll give it, I'd guess, probably a 50 horsepower increase, which the stock transmission would take that without any, you know, modifications to any torque management tables or shift points.
All right. And you don't see any reason to have to modify the factory tune in order to get these things to idle correctly or drive correctly.
Nope, not at all.
So to me, that's a win, and that was one of the things that we were focusing on in the test stand, was getting the injector nozzle to where it would work without requiring people to aftermarket tune.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, to me, that's a win all the way around. So I really enjoy that. Now I'm kind of loving it. Well, hey guys, let's. I'll let you watch the road and see what we're up to here, and be back with you at the shop. Hi guys, I'm back. I'm still with Cody. Thanks for the drive.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate you coming out and showing me what the thing run like, because now Matt and I both want to go out and buy daily drivers at 500 horsepower.
Yep.
Kind of fun, actually. It's just nice having all those gears, so the gear drop, like I'm used to driving 4-speed trannies with the gear drop being like drastic in between gears. Mm-hmm. With those things, the gear drop isn't near as bad, so it's pretty spunky. Like, it's fun to drive.
Yeah, they move out down the road.
It does get down. And we kind of talked about it in the truck a little bit, but whose exhaust is on the truck?
Factory exhaust.
GM. Whose airbox is in the truck?
GM airbox.
I can't believe that truck is that stock and makes 400 plus horsepower.
Yep.
And is virtually smoke free.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of fun. It's actually pretty impressive to be a part of a project that turned out as good as it did. And I'm definitely excited for our next project, which is, what's the name of this one piston here that you've been beating on me about?
Fingers oval bowls.
So what's cool about that piston?
They don't seem to crack at high horsepower.
All right. And this one, apparently it cracked.
Yeah, it gave up life.
It doesn't look happy anymore.
No, it's not.
I'm using this bin of needle valves, which are all failures, by the way. We've got lots of these. When they don't come out right, you don't get them. We just throw them in bins around here, and then I throw them away later. So we are going to be doing a drawing and a program for these things as soon as we can. But first, I had to come out and get what we were working on correct.
Yep.
And after the test drive, I feel like we kind of got that correct. So I'll probably start working on your fingers bowl and make all the rest of the Duramax guys happy too.
Oh, yeah.
So, recap, LB7 Duramax, 400 plus horsepower, factory airbox, factory exhaust, no aftermarket lift pump, torque management is increased to try and keep transmission alive.
Yep.
And you've added timing to the tune. But when it was tuned prior, like you were using tunes prior to try and make it run good, right? Mm-hmm. You just slam the injectors in and it runs really good.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. I can't wait for you to throw them in a stock tune truck.
Yeah, me either.
Can you shove a stock file on that and see how it works?
Yeah.
Let me know what you come up with.
Yeah, I'll do it this afternoon.
All right, cool. So, where can our people find you? Because obviously we don't install injectors, but somebody has to. So,
I'm on Facebook, BC Diesel Fab, shops in Post Falls.
So Post Falls, Idaho, BC, like British Columbia, Diesel Fab.
Yep.
And you forte, your whole thing is like Duramax stuff, right?
Yep.
So there's plenty of enough on the road to keep you busy?
Oh, yeah.
I'm with you on that. There's plenty. So Post Falls, Idaho, guys, northern panhandle of Idaho. If you're anywhere around Spokane, you've probably heard about it. If you're in the Seattle area, it's over by Spokane. If you're in Montana, it's over by Spokane. And if you don't know where Post Falls is, just look at Spokane on the map because it's right next door to it. What, a 15-minute drive, basically?
Pretty much, yep.
15-minute drive from Spokane, Washington. Everybody knows where the big cities are, so that's where Cody can be found. And sure appreciate you putting in time and listening to this video, and I hope this helps you with your Duramax needs. All right, thanks, guys. Lenny Reed, Dynomite Diesel.